Welcome to another video. Have you ever wanted to play Bloody Palace like a pro? Or this? Or maybe that. Well, good thing I made a guide. We'll be focusing on mostly all bosses because I'm a bit too lazy to go through all the difficult levels. And you won't be looking at your menu like Nero here. That's funny, right, guys? Alright, welcome to Chapter 1. You can select any Devil Breaker you want, because all the things I'm going to do, you don't need them. But I'll get Gerbera just because Behemoth and how dodging his attacks requires some, some stuff. I think that's how you say it. Gerbera? Gerbera? You get the point. Head in right now. Alright, this is pretty easy. All you want to do is just stay in the air and do this. It's not, it might not be the most stylish, but I mean, I never said it was gonna be stylish. So you want to repeat this all the way until you get to a specific level. What is that level? It's this one. Basically, you want to attack them in there as usual, but they'll do a little whirlwind. When they do that, just stay low. Just stay low, like that. See, you don't want that happening. You want to stay on the ground. Repeat, you know the deal. Which I would actually recommend getting max axe, so you can kind of do this. Otherwise, same strategy. You want to stay in the air. Now as for these, one by one. You gotta deal with them one by one. You gotta knock one down, go on right to the other. You know, kind of like ping pong. You just gotta go back and forth, and it'll be over quicker. And then just one by one. And here's where a lot of people start failing. At least if you're like a starter. You know, you got the same thing. You stay in the air. You grab them. Do that if you can. Group them. Otherwise, stay in the air. You know, I'm repeating myself a lot, but that's really the prime strategy here is just do what I'm doing right here. Now here's a sleeper. There's a Queen and Pusa, and they can mess you up. You want to, not do this. You want to deal with the Green and Pusas, especially if you're low on health, because they'll just heal. Otherwise, it's not gonna cost you to go double trigger, so you absolutely can, and I would. I'm just voiceovering this because the previous recordings buns. Point is, go aggressive. Once everyone else is out of the way, just go aggressive on the Queen of Pusa. I think that's what it's called, right? It's not like Empress. But yeah, that's about it. If you're extra aggressive, you can do grab 2 times. And you'll know you can do grab when they do that animation, because that signals they're stunned. A lot of this is kind of common sense. Because, if you played the game, you kind of know. But I mean, sometimes it's hard to miss. Not hard to miss. Easy to miss. Especially for something as sleeping as that. Same thing. Stay in the air. That's about it, really. Just don't remember to not be like super cocky, in this game, because that can cost you. Usually does, unless you're a goated like me. Now ignore that editing failure. These guys, they're pretty easy to deal with. It's just that when they're red, you can't stun them like I do here. When they're low on health, you just need to wail on them and then, you know, let them do their thing, which, you know, if you play the game, you've kind of, you know, recognized that yourself. But this is a guide, right? I'm here to help, right? So I'm gonna say it even if it's obvious. Now, in most situations, for this next one, you want to focus on this guy right here, number one, because, you know, they're annoying. Their all-out attack is annoying too. They're annoying. Probably like top 3 annoying enemies in Devil May Cry 5. Not in Devil May Cry history. There's definitely more annoying ones. They're easy to deal with, you know. They're like, what, Baphomet, but weaker. Sort of, I think. Now we have the... Is this a behemoth? Is that what they call it? Or is that the other one? Point is, these gluttonous bastards, you know, go not all out. Use Blue Rose to get their armor off. Then, if you have Double Trigger, right, be aggressive. If not, still be aggressive. I would just go and attack them from the side because their attacks are more predictable from the side. Like you can see their leg go up rather than their butt go up, and then you get hit by their tail, and then that's annoying. And of course, you can open up with a grab instantly after. And just like that, look, see? Don't do what I did. I didn't mean to do that. You'll see these. Oh my god, the lisp is crazy. You'll see these in bulk later, and yes, you can have them explode in your face and they do no damage point blank. They're pretty easy. Now for the nobodies. Holy, these guys, they're annoying. Might be the only one I kind of don't have a strategy with, besides be aggressive. Be super aggressive. And don't, like, do as much damage as possible. Possible. Okay. Sorry, I'm crashing out because it's my own mouth is betraying me. Anyways, be aggressive. You'll see when they are going to go for a grab, and you just want to get super high in the air, right? Use your wings. Use the taunt, right? The air taunt, because that gains air. And besides that, be aggressive and ignore my grabs here. They don't do much, I promise you. You're much better off just wailing on them on the ground. And if you take too long, some people don't know this, but more nobodies will spawn. That's why you can't play super defensively. I mean, you can, technically, you can do whatever the hell you want, right? But I mean, it's not ideal for an enemy like nobodies, you know? Not ideal for a lot of enemies. Well, you get the point. You get the point. You know the idea. We know. Look, it's our favorite friend. It's Fury. Listen, this goes for all characters. Just stay in the air and spam basic attacks. Because it's more, like, most of the time, and I really mean it, most of the time it's going to be a parry. Of course, why would I be lying if me myself is doing it? stay in the air and just repeat. See? Not a rhythm you need to catch. No, okay. Rhythm needs catch. That's what I was myself a few minutes ago was gonna say. Anyways, we're at the boss now. Gerbera, you could use it to help you dodge. You know, it's like super known to use it on this boss. Otherwise, you can either sidestep, right, like I am here, or, right, which is the method I'm going to be mainly using, is get behind him. But he doesn't stun. You kind of want to... You want to watch out for his combos, because you'll think he's done, but he's not. And of course, he's a boss, so you can't stun him super easily unless, you know, you do a lot of damage in a short amount of time. As I said, stay behind, because his attacks are the most predictable if you're attacking from behind. If you're shooting him from the back, you know, it's pretty easy to tell what he's about to do. To avoid this, just stay in the air when he does it, and it won't harm you. You can just run when he throws something. And then do that when he runs at you. I don't even think you need to do the air taunt if I'm not gonna lie. Now you wanna wait for him to start and then you start running. Because if you instantly go to the other side when he does it, he's gonna trick you. And then you're gonna be where it instantly starts and you'll be sucked in. You know, because I've had it happen to me before. Alright, so you can't jump it too early. And of course, you can, if he's low and you're scared, you can just shoot until he's done. Or you can be aggressive and go behind again. You do not need... You don't need to worry about your health, because you're going to get your health back at the end of every single boss. Of course, it's good to preserve your health every time. That's what you want to do. Anyways, we're going to do the other ones. What's it called? Burlog or something? Yeah, it's an underrated weapon. You're going to see me heavily use it later on. But it's if you know how to use it, it's pretty good. You don't need an Einstein brain to use it. Just up and down while having lock on. Otherwise, you want to use King Cerberus most of the time. You know, favorite weapon. Always has. Now, for these guys in the air, you want to just hold it and zap them. That's about it. It's simple. Same for them. You want to zap them. I don't know what I was trying to say here, but now for these, as we said, the strategy for Nero, you want to apply here at the same time. Just wail on them in the air. When they do attack, well, you know, but you can always parry because you're using King Cerberus. And unless they go on the ground, then you don't want to freaking stand there and run away. Because yeah, King Cerberus, it's a parry demon, you know? You can parry so many things easily. Now onto these Angelo prototypes. The name doesn't matter. The Swordmaster tilt back. That does a lot of damage. And you'll see it, especially on bosses. For these, same method, one at a time, like ping pong. You know, back and forth. You know, I'm hoping that analogy catches on. Now for these. You want to go King Cerberus or Double Trigger and do Stinger. That also works too. It's pretty easy to deal with them. Same method as Nero. That's why I cut it. Not much to, you know, go over. Against these, again, King Cerberus, you know, roll on them because you can easily parry. And same thing, when they're red, be careful, you know. That's when they get serious. And Behemoth, we're back at it again. King Cerberus, every time. Again, sides, because you can easily predict their moves better. And I feel like it takes a bit longer than, you know, usual for them to, you know, get into their animation. And like that, it was pretty easy. Because, you know, it does a lot of damage. And on to nobodies. Sure are a bunch of nobodies. You want to be aggressive with them. Same thing. The same stuff I said when I was playing in this level using Nero. You want to apply here. Except I feel like it's easier because you're playing as Dante. You know? See? It's, I can never time it right, but I know I'm right. Now we're up Behemoth. Same method. Now, you can use whatever you want in, you know, Sin Double Trigger. Sometimes I feel like just slicing them does more damage than if you were to do Demolition. I think that's what it's called. Like, see? Like, how much health would you be able to get over with if you were to only use Demolition in that scenario? Probably not as much. But same thing. Not something super crazy to analyze here. And on to Virgil, you know, the older brother, or some may say the cooler brother between the Sparta twins. Now, guess what? You're going to want to learn Judgment Cut. Specifically, how to do it like 4 or 3 times in a row. Basically, you know normal Judgment Cut, right? How it has time in order to, like, you know, do it. To do multiple in a row, you want to charge it up, right, and release it before the lightning would appear, and eventually do it multiple times in a row. It's been a while in this recording since I've done it, which is why you're not seeing me really flex. But once you get the hang of it, it's... See how much damage I'm doing? I mean, Virgil's a DLC character, so, you know, of course he's expected to be goated. Also, for Mirage Blade, you want to do the back and forth one, where he kind of sends like a slash or 2 projectiles out of it. That one, right, when he's stunned, that one's a pretty good, it's a good attack. I usually do that, then the same like directional output, but with the Yamato, which slows him down and does damage. Otherwise, you want to keep using Judgment Cut on like every single enemy. And, may not show it here, but Hell on Earth is one of the most, like, busted moves, like, in his Sin Double Trigger moveset. Right? You may be wondering, what is it? You can go into the menu yourself, but I'm gonna tell you anyways, just in case you're too lazy to search it up. Basically, you know those little things he uses to punch and kick? I forgot their name. It's the same like output you use for Judgment Cut and stuff, I think. And that's about it. And it does a lot of damage. It sends even bosses flying up. Yeah, I think it says in the description.
This shall be your
That's how you ore farm. Anyways, on to other things. Once again, stage 25. This is where you meet a Fury and what? Some chaoses, riots. Again, stay in the air, and unless you're grabbing one, which will automatically act as a defense, you want to slice in the air. Right? Because you're like technically invincible if you're freaking throwing them around like a ragdoll. Otherwise, same method. This obviously only goes for Nero, right? It's a bit easier since you have 2 ways to be invincible. Alright. Now as for Dante, if you open up with Cerberus using his shock, most of the time, at least for me, I don't know if I'm lucky or not, it'll usually stun the Fury. Otherwise, same method, keep spamming it, and you'll parry. But of course, right, it's a hard level, right, because of the riots. So you want to spam while you attack the riots, right? Now, once you're alone, you know the method. You know the method. Now for Virgil, Judgment Cut. Over and over in the air. Even on Fury. Now as for them, that was a bummer move on my part. Station 33. Judgment Cuts over and over as usual. Same method, same thing with Nero. When they do that, you want to stay on the ground. But of course, there's a nobody. Or else, why else would this be a hard level? Nobodies are the bane of everybody's existence. See what I did there? Because like nobody and everybody. And stuff. Virtual, you can kind of do whatever. But in a bit with Nero, I'll show you. You want to mainly be aggressive towards the nobodies. Those like fraudulent Shinigami or whatever. They're kind of chill. You know, don't focus on them. You know, I mean, if you can afford to go Sin Devil Trigger, you can do Hell on Earth, which looks like this. That's for Nero. Go crazy on the nobodies. Just go crazy. Alright, like at this point I was annoyed with them. You know? Especially if demons are off screen, they're slower. They have like a higher chance of attacking if they're on screen. But something like this, geez, such a golden position. As I said, aggressive, real aggressive, especially since there's only one nobody. And then, you know, apply the same method to these freaks, and it should be pretty cakewalk after the nobody's gone. Dante! It's Dante's turn. Same thing. Be aggressive with the nobodies. It's not showing it immediately right now because I just wailed on him super hard at the start of the level. But you'll see it. Yeah, you see him right in that lower corner. You want to focus on him. That's it. Right? Nobody's. You want to be aggressive, as scary as they are, right? Unless you're, you know, playing as V. You know, which, you know, I don't understand the slander, guys. Like, I understand the slander. Like, he's kind of goated, you know? Is he easy? I mean, yeah, you could say so, obviously. But you get the point. another angel, right? It looks like an angel, so that's what we're calling it. King Cerberus, use the shock. That, as you can see, is doing a lot of damage, and it would save most certainly a lot of time. Other words, you want to probably switch to Gunslinger when those two come out, especially when she rises up, which, you know, is annoying. And you want to repeat, of course, and right, I won't, you know, wait to show you it, but for her scream, you can either use Trickster and dodge it, or roll on the ground when it happens. Now, one reason one might not be able to teleport, because you're just kind of pressing it. You want to go in the direction of them and then press, right, the style button, which is B if you're on console, and whatever else on PC. I mean, I'm doing this on PC, but I just prefer a controller. And that's about the fight. Now, as for Nero, you'll be asking, what did he do? Get close to her and keep slicing. Specifically, preferably, using Max Act, which is when you're able to, you know, like rev it up fully if you time it right after a slice perfectly. And I just kind of like lightly sloppily do it. Otherwise, you know, watch out for them screams. As I said, use the earlier info I put, which was to roll on the floor when it happens, or just be away. Of course, unless you're Dante, you can't, you know, dodge in midair. It'd be nice, good, but not everyone can be Dante. Of course, if you play Devil May Cry 5, you know you can rev it up in there. That is a nasty sentence. But you get the point. Now for Virgil. Look. What do you think I'm gonna say? It's gonna be Judgment Cut. Spam it. Judgment Cut every time. Of course, that move. Right? You lock on, back and forth. Same for the Yamato to do that. And then repeat.
Go to hell. It's over.
And then hell on earth. Or on to the next one.
Let's have some fun.
Ain't this been what y'all waiting for? This right here. Anyways, just want to dodge it. Now beat in the air, spam it. That's the only way you're going to parry his attacks. Now when he goes for a slam, you can try to parry it, but that's it's risky. Most likely you'll be, you're gonna be slammed down. Unless he's also doing it fast paced, then it doesn't matter, The point is, if there's like an unusual gap, then you should probably leave. See, look, no health taken at all yet, and his is already halfway down. Of course, let's not get too cocky, right? Let's not try to toot our own horns a bit too much, but I mean, it is Devil May Cry. The point is to toot our own horns and look good doing it. Now, when he does this, run, and then don't stay when he does that. You want to jump up, then do an air taunt. Otherwise, same thing, air taunt, air slice, and when he slams, just go away. And there's no complex dodging to that. You just want to jump. Otherwise, when he's down, you want to spam normal bullets and then charge it up, because it does a lot of damage, like more than you think when he's instantly down kneeling. Of course, look, see? Repeat. And then here's the unfair part, right? Nobody likes this. And as long as he has lightning, right? Lightning around him, he can't be stunned, right? And it's pretty... I've only, been able to stun him in his, second phase only a few times. But again, I wouldn't worry about it. The point is to mid-air, keep slicing so you can parry all of his attacks and then punish, right? Attacking at the same time. Then even close up, could have dodged that if you wanted to. I just couldn't because I was on the ground. Anyways, you apply that to the same, and you know what to do for Virgil. Now for Dante. Right, Dante's time on the annoying baby bird carcass. You want to use Trickster to automatically teleport to them, and again use Cerberus. If you time it right, you can automatically dodge out when he jumps up, right? And that's just, you know, it's pretty easy. It's not like, right, it's not like a hard move to do, like you see right there. Of course, you want to repeat. Now, when it does this, that's when it's not fun. This is when it becomes annoying. And generally, just dodge it. You can't play aggressive like I am here right now. But for safety, start dodging and use that Swordmaster lock on. I think it's going backwards. Yeah, it's going backwards. And you see how much damage that did? Do you see? I told you earlier. That move does a lot of damage, like an absurd amount. Now, if you're able to reduce the double trigger, I encourage you to, especially around here, because by the time it happens, it's about over. Of course, alright, it's not done yet. So you want to dodge. See? That's all you gotta do. And then finish it off how I said one can. Bye-bye. Alright, on to the next guy. Now as for Nero, you don't need to like intensely dodge. You can kind of just sit there. As for Nero, of course, she doesn't have any super duper flashy moves. So simply grabbing, getting up close, and slicing is going to do you a pretty good job. That's the strategy here. Now, of course, you can't use Trickster. Nero doesn't have Trickster. You can't, you know. So, when she does use the bird to jump up, right, when you're on her for too long, that it's a simple thing. It's just timing, really. Just timing your attacks. It's really just jumping away. Of course, try to, you know, insert max act into most of your attacks. Now, when, right, again, here, I said for Dante, right, just dodge, and that was a bit easy considering he has Trickster. For this, you can kind of be aggressive. You can hang in the air, right? You can hang in the air and then grab onto them. Because, you know, not going to be facing you. That only works if you're, like, directly above them, not on the side. You know, like, you don't want to wait, right? Like, what's happening on the screen, that's the strategy. Right, if none of my words are landing, it's just what's happening on the screen. See how I jumped up? See? Like that. And you want to repeat, and you'll win. Now, of course, for when she does her, like, you know, her special, right, when she emerges from the middle of the map. Dude, I swear I've done it other times, but I have no idea what you should do, like, when she does that, because she doesn't get stunned. I don't know what happens. I don't know if it was just a fluke. But in that state, you want to do as much damage as you can. All right. So don't do it. Don't lock on and go forward and press attack. That attack does not do a lot of damage at all, especially to a boss. And that's about it. Now for Virgil, of course. What am I gonna say? Judgment cut. That's what you want to do. Spam judgment cut. And learning, I'm telling you, learning to do multiple of them in a row is like, it's gonna be your bread and butter when using Virgil. And if you haven't understood it before already, basically you want to release, right? When you hold down the attack button, right, whatever that may be for the Yamato, to do Judgment Cut, you want to release it like right before it does. It doesn't like require intense calculation. I kind of just go off feeling. Like it's nothing crazy. But right before, that's when you want to do it. Right, and you'll kind of just learn the timing, you know. And of course, if you abuse this,
there's no time for doubt. I know what must be done. Go to hell. It's over.
and that's it. Now, of course, if you liked the video, then you should like. I'm gonna do Urizen and Virgil and the others on another damn video. Right? Soon. It's all I have right now. Maybe I'll do some other difficult levels in the other video. Otherwise, you should kind of subscribe, because I kind of do Devil May Cry content a lot. Other than that, I'm gonna let my videos speak for me.